How's our financial plan coming?
Super! Chris, any advice?
With Western and Southern, preparing for your financial future can be easier than you think. Favorite receiver?
Huh?
To get started, visit westernsouthern.com.
Welcome into PFF TV. Austin Gayle here with Anthony Treash. We're going to be doing an early free agency preview looking at the 2020 free agency wide receiver class. I think there's some interesting names, some names that probably won't get picked up for a ton of money, but there's also a handful of names I think could be real difference makers in the upcoming free agency period. Let's go ahead and start with Rashard Hollywood Higgins. He has not had a ton of opportunities in Cleveland this year, as we kind of expected with Baker Mayfield, Odell, and Jarvis Landry. Injuries have been a factor, but he had great production at Colorado State. He's flashed in periods in the NFL. What is your take on Higgins and his value as a free agent?
Yeah, as you said, he hasn't played a whole lot in 2019 due to injury, but he showed a little bit of promise last year compared to years prior. He had a 48.7 receiving grade in 2017, and then jumped that up in 2018 to 68.2, and he was a pretty good deep receiving option for Baker Mayfield. He had the 11th most deep catches and was second in catch rate and passer rating generated on those in just 13 games played. But he's not really a speedster, but he's good in tight separation, and that's what we really saw last season. I mean, he ranked top 20 in PFF grade in those instances, so it kind of seems like he could be a good fit for that third guy in an 11 personnel set with OBJ and Jarvis Landry.
Absolutely. I mean, he can wins in those tight window situations. He also can kind of separate at the short and intermediate level. I like his play after the catch at times. What I want from him is consistency. That's what everyone really wants from Rashard Higgins, and it's going to be interesting to see if Cleveland tries to bring that back or if another team takes a shot at him in free agency. Let's go to probably the star of the class. Michael Thomas has his contract extension, but Amari Cooper still needs Julio Jones as well. Amari Cooper needs his money, and he's going to get paid a ton. I can't imagine the Dallas Cowboys trading a first-round pick for Amari Cooper and letting him walk, especially after the production we've seen in Dallas. He's made Dak look better. He's made Jerry Jones look better. And he's playing a lot better as well since going from Oakland to Dallas. Do love this guy.
Yeah, Austin, it's very frustrating because Lael Collins got paid, DeMarcus Lawrence got paid, Jalen Smith got paid, and then Ezekiel Elliott, who's not even the best running back on the team, got paid. And the two players that should have gotten paid first was Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, and each week they're making Jerry Jones-Waller get smaller and smaller just because they are raising their value, and especially Amari Cooper. He is our second highest graded wide receiver right now and is fourth in yards per route run, so he's producing a lot on his routes, and he has the seventh most explosive receiving plays of 15 or more yards. And really, his route running is what has stood out to me. I went back and watched some of his routes, and when I got to week 9 against the New York Giants and he went up against DeAndre Baker, I screamed. I screamed. I mean, it was absurd. I felt like my soul was leaving my body when DeAndre Baker flew on one of those routes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this guy can get separation better than anyone else in the NFL, and this guy, he's going to get paid. They have to find a way to pay him.
Only 25 years old, an elite separator in the NFL, a great route runner. There's just so much reason to pay this guy, and now he has the production to boot. He's making Dak look better. I do think he stays in Dallas with a ton of money in his pocket. Let's move forward here. DeMarcus Robinson, a guy that hasn't necessarily panned out in Kansas City. He's always kind of been a ton of potential, a big-body guy, a very good athlete, 25 years old, but the grade and the production has not followed suit. We're still looking for him to kind of break out from a consistency standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, he's had 4 seasons to do so, and you might remember his name back early on in the season, back in week 2. He had a great game, 80.9 receiving grade, over 170 receiving yards, so don't let that skew your thought on him, because that's really the only highlight we have seen from him at the NFL level, and he didn't really show a lot in college either. You know, as you said, he's a big potential guy. He had 1.51 yards per hour in his final season at Florida and just a 68.7 receiving grade. It's really not good what you want to see in your final year of college. So it kind of seems like time's starting to run out for him.
I definitely see him as a low risk and even possibly a low reward option right now. You just can't expect him to break out. I mean, he's had so many opportunities now with Patrick Mahomes to break out, and we're still not necessarily seeing it from a consistency standpoint. And Tyreek Hill is battling injury. You know, there's opportunities in Kansas City. He's just not really taking advantage of them. Let's go to Robby Anderson, one of my favorites in the NFL. I love his speed. I love his game-changing ability. But again, I expected this to be a breakout year for Robby. The entire Jets offense has struggled. He struggled as well. 60.7 PFF grade, only 1.03 yards per route run average. He is not panning out. Still just 26 years old. Has all this speed that everyone loves. Where do you see him in this free agency class?
Yeah, I know that you're probably the most upset person on the planet about his production this year, because it really has not been good. He's regressed significantly from last season to this season, went from a 70.8 receiving grade to 60.7 this season, and ranks in the bottom 10 among wide receivers in yards per route run. So he's just really not producing. Just hasn't been able to use that speed to his strength. Just holding just 3 deep catches so far. And, you know, granted, quarterback situation has been bad. Sam Darnold missed a few weeks, mononucleosis. but it seems like it's both parties were just kind of separate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with Robby, some of it's the quarterback concerns. Also, I think he's struggling to get separation in this offense or get opportunities in this offense. There's a lot going wrong with Robby Anderson and this Jets team overall. I think he needs a new opportunity. He needs to go to a new team this offseason on a low deal, maybe a 1-year deal, so he has that opportunity for that breakout year and a long-term extension. But right now, I think he needs a change of scenery. Let's go to Phillip Dorsett. This is a guy that, unlike Robby Anderson, I think has had a ton of opportunity with a very good team, a very good quarterback, and still has yet to produce at a high level. There was a ton of hype around him coming out of Miami, but still, he's never had that consistent production. He's a big play threat, but you have to have consistent big plays if you're going to make an impact in the NFL. I think you have to be frustrated with his lack of production in New England.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he is a big play threat, but that's only when he's open. And when he's in tight separation, we haven't seen anything from him. He has the 6th lowest catch rate in tight separation situations. And granted, he's on pace to have the best season of his career, but that's still 54th among all wide receivers right now. This wide receiver unit, it's thin. It's incredibly thin. They have Julian Edelman. He's getting older. They had to trade for Mohamed Sanu, but they have 2 young guys in N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers. So I'd kind of be surprised if Bill Belichick brought this guy back.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Bill Belichick brought this guy back, and I would be really surprised if he really lasts with another NFL team. I'm really just waiting for him to show any signs of life. Moving to this next guy, there's only really one way to introduce him. It's drops, baby. Nelson Agholor has really struggled from a catching the ball standpoint. Eagles fans are upset. The rest of the NFL is upset. Fantasy owners are upset. He's really struggled to catch the ball, and that's a big problem. He showed in that one season where they moved him into the slot, he can have good production, but the inconsistency from a hand standpoint has been a huge concern. A 52.5 PFF grade, and drops will always drag your grade down as a receiver in PFF system, and you see that right now. 0.89 yards per out run. When you drop below that 1-yard average, you're in bottom 10 territory. 26 years old. Maybe there's an opportunity there for him to change over, but again, he's potentially creating burner accounts on Twitter. There's a lot going on with Nelson Agholor. I think he needs, 1, a change of scenery, and 2, some stickum to kind of get things going.
Yeah, as you said, everybody's upset. I'm upset because I thought this guy was actually going to be something.
Yeah.
He had a great breakout season in 2017, 74.0 receiving grade, but this year, he's second to last in PFF grade right now and 6th fewest yards per route run. And as you said, drops are a big concern. And on targets of 10 or more yards, he has the 7th lowest catchable pass rate at that. So it's really not good. And we know Philadelphia has a very analytically sound front office. And they know these numbers, and they're going to be thinking about that long and hard when free agency hits.
I definitely agree. And when you're on an Eagles team that is struggling to find any consistency at the receiver position, you think it's an opportunity for Nelson Agholor to kind of have a good day, have a good season. He's not really delivering on that front. I think he finds a new team in 2020 as a free agent. Let's go to Josh Gordon. All hype, all potential. This guy has just needs to stay healthy, stay on the field, avoid the suspensions, all of those things. And you think he's just that level of athlete, that level of talent that he can have good production in the NFL. Still looking for that to happen. Still looking for that to happen ever since his Cleveland Browns days. Didn't happen in New England. Is kind of slow out of the gate here in Seattle. What are you seeing in Josh Gordon? What kind of makes him a good free agent this year?
Yeah, if you wanted us to create a definition for low risk, high reward, I'm putting Josh Gordon's name in that definition because he's a definition of that. He's going to cost less than what the production shows, and he can really be one of the best outside wide receivers in the NFL. And we've seen that year over year when he's been playing. Since 2017 at outside wide receiver, he's been producing yards after the catch better than anyone else. He leads the NFL in that stat. And ultimately, what can bring Gordon back to that 2013 form where he went off is really getting him involved in the deep passing game. And that year, he had a career high in deep targets, and he ranked top 5 in deep catches, yards, and touchdowns. And it just so happens the quarterback in Seattle is the highest graded deep passer in all of football right now. So there really could not be a better fit for Josh Gordon than in Seattle. So I think it's kind of a good marriage there.
If he's going to do it, he's going to do it in Seattle on these deep throws. He's a legit deep threat. I think if he turns it on down the stretch of this season and possibly into the playoffs with Seattle, there's an opportunity for him to get brought back on a multi-year extension. However, if he falls flat, I think he gets another 1-year deal somewhere else and tries to find somewhere he can stick. Let's move forward here. Dallas Cowboys receiver Randall Cobb, an older guy, 29 years old, but still producing pretty well with Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. I do like that pairing, that trio they do have in Dallas. I don't really see him going somewhere else. I think he likes this Dallas regime. I think he likes Dak Prescott. He's producing there now. I think they can bring him back on a relatively low deal. I think he makes sense for Dallas to stay.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, he signed a one-year prove-it deal essentially with the Dallas Cowboys. And, while he isn't back to that near elite form we saw when he was early on in his career in Green Bay, he's been proving he's more than capable of being a very good slot receiver. He's our 18th highest graded receiver in the slot right now and has the third most explosive plays in the slot. He's been good on downfield targets. And the great thing about this is that the trio of Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Randall Cobb, they're the only trio in the NFL to rank in the top 30 in PFF receiving grade, minimum of 35 targets. It's going to be difficult to bring Amari and Randall Cobb back, but I think, as you said, they're going to find a way.
I think Randall Cobb finds a way to get done. Maybe a team-friendly deal, knowing that Amari Cooper is going to collect his bank, and I think he can come back on a team-friendly deal, maybe a 1-2 year option there. Let's go to A.J. Green. This is a very interesting situation, largely because he hasn't played in Cincinnati due to injury, wants to play there, maybe wants a contract extension, but you see the recent reports that says there's 32 NFL teams out there, and I think there is a good chance he finds a change of scenery on the open market, collects a pretty decent paycheck to go somewhere with a good quarterback, a good offense that can take advantage of his talents. Of course, he has been unhealthy. He has not found the field a ton in recent years, but I think when healthy, he's a legit wide receiver 1, a legit threat in the NFL.
For sure. I mean, when he's healthy, he is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. When you go back from 2012 to 2018, each and every single one of those seasons, he finished in the top 13 in PFF receiving grade. So year in, year out, he's been one of the best. And when you combine the 2017 and 2018 seasons, you can really see how good this guy is in contested catch situations. He was 7th in contested catches those 2 years, and he was 4th in PFF grade behind, the elite guys we all know, Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, and Allen Robinson. So this guy still has it in him when he's healthy. And, a case could be made. They kind of made a mistake by not getting rid of him at the deadline because teams were buying for him.
Yeah.
You got a team like the Patriots that were willing to cough up some good amount of coin to get him. So at this point, it kind of seems, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets brought back on a good long-term deal just because they kept him at the trade deadline. So you have, we want to look at this positively. They might get Joe Burrow, who happens to be one of the best tight window throwers in college. I mean, he's shattering, accuracy numbers in those tight window throws, better than Baker Mayfield, better than Kyler Murray, and those were the best guys we've ever seen. So it's really insane how good this guy's been. And if they bring back AJ, I think that could be a good pairing in Cincinnati.
And that will go a long way for AJ Green, in my opinion. I think if they say, we're going to reevaluate the quarterback position, bring in this guy from LSU, start this franchise over offensively, I think AJ Green could buy in to a contract extension in Cincinnati. However, if some other teams come and they got a little bit more chunk of change than what Cincinnati's putting out, I think he does go to another team, maybe in a more favorable offense that isn't rebuilding but ready to compete. Let's go to another guy that was traded, another guy that was traded, but a guy that was traded to San Francisco, Emmanuel Sanders. He's 32 years old, but still separating at an elite level. I love his route running ability at this age, an 82.4 PFF grade. He looks very good in San Francisco, fits Kyle Shanahan's offense to a T. This guy's not leaving San Fran, in my opinion. I think he doesn't even hit the open market. They likely extend him before that opportunity comes. Yeah,
at age 32, Emmanuel Sanders is still getting the job done. He's on pace for his third best season of his career in PFF grade, and he ranks 13th among all wide receivers so far in 2019. And it kind of seems like the San Francisco trade that they made at the deadline is really paying off for him. And he really fits in this offense very well. Jimmy Garoppolo, he gets rid of the ball very quickly, has the second quickest time to throw, in fact. And Emmanuel Sanders really thrives in a quick offense. On throws of 2.5 seconds or less, he's our 7th highest graded wide receiver this season. So, I mean, they really use 2 wide receiver sets at one of the league's highest rates. They rarely use 3 wide receiver sets. And since he came onto the team, him and Deebo Samuel both rank in the top 20 in PFF grade. Not to mention they have the best tight end in football in George Kittle. So I think this could be a good fit for him long term.
Absolutely. I think Emmanuel Sanders stays put. Let's go to our last guy on the list here, an ageless wonder, Larry Fitzgerald, 36 years old, still producing at a moderately high level. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you 2 things. I'm not ready to see the NFL without Larry Fitzgerald, and I'm not ready to see the NFL with him in another uniform. I think if he plays, if he does not hang up the cleats, it's going to be playing in the desert.
Yeah, this man is aging like fine wine. No wide receiver has more catchable targets without a drop than Larry Fitzgerald.
Consistent.
Exactly. I mean, in his 6'3" frame, he is still bodying people. He has the 12th highest contested catch rate in the NFL right now at 58.8%. And even at his old age, he's staying with the longer developing plays. He's our 9th highest graded player, our wide receiver, on plays where the time to throw is 3.1 seconds or longer. And he's really helping out Kyler Murray, and you can see that on the field. So, I mean, he's not leaving for another team. So he's either going to call it quits and retire, or he's coming back for another year. But the way he's playing, I think he very well could come back for another season.
And my bet is on him coming back. Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury, it's given new life to this Arizona Cardinals team. And it's rebuilding. It's probably not ready to compete in the next year or two, but it's close. And I think he likes where the offense is going. I could see Larry Fitzgerald coming back to Arizona and not hanging up the cleats. That's going to do it for our free agency preview of the wide receiver position. Me and Anthony are going to continue to do that moving forward. Make sure you subscribe to PFF's YouTube channel for more content like this, or go ahead and go to the site, pff.com.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.